Hello kids, I am finally back with the mesh tote, how to make a fabric handle when you don't want to use strapping, or if you just don't have any strapping and you don't want to go to the store, but you know what I mean. So what you're going to need to do this is you're going to need some of your contrast fabric or accent fabric, whatever you're going to use. And you're going to need a piece that is cut 2.5 inches wide, and it's going to need to be 108 inches long. So you'll have to piece some of your fabrics together usually. And when I do make sure that I use a 45-degree seam, and I do press those seams open because that will distribute the weight, or the thickness rather, across that in a more favorable manner. You will also need some batting, and this batting is going to be cut 3/4 of an inch wide, and again it needs to be 108 inches long. This I think is a great use for some of your scrap batting. If you've been doing some quilting and you have those long pieces that don't seem good enough for anything else, well, this is a perfect time to use them, okay? And I did sew this together. I used a straight seam on that, and I made it a little wider than I normally would, but I'm just going to press that open with my fingers, just finger press it, and have that ready to go. So now this is ready, but before we can do anything with the batting, we need to take our fabric, and we're going to press this in a certain way before we put in the batting. And so I'm going to get over to the ironing board, and I will show you what you want to do as far as ironing this, and then we'll be ready to put in the batting and sew. So one moment while I move. Alrighty, I'm back. I'm at my ironing station now. And what we're going to do with this 2.5-inch strip is on one side of it, we're going to fold over, trying to get my face on the video, fold over 1/4 of an inch, and we're going to press that all the way down that one side of this strip of fabric. Once we've done that, we're going to go back over to this other side, and we're going to fold over 3/4 of an inch, and we're gonna press that down all the way down the length of the fabric. Now, if you want to make sure that you're using an accurate measurement, you could make yourself some kind of a little template, one that's 1/4 of an inch wide, one that's 3/4 of an inch wide, something that is heat resistant. Now I have never bothered to do that, and I've made bunches of these little things. So what I do is I just take one of my rulers and I just measure it and say, yep, that's 1/4 of an inch. That's 1/4 of an inch. So what I'm doing when I'm measuring that, just so you can see, is I'm simply taking that and measuring 1/4 of an inch. So when I go to do the other side, obviously, I'll fold it over, because that's just how I do. Fold it over. And then I'm just going to measure it and see if that is in fact 3/4 of an inch. Am I good or what? Look at that. Yay, me. And so you'll do that all the way down, like I said, all the way down. One side is 3/4 of an inch wide, all the way down. The other is 1/4 of an inch wide. Once you've done that, then we're going to be ready to throw in our batting. So let me finish pressing and I'll be right back. Alrighty kids, I'm back. I have my thing is all pressed like I need it. One thing I did want to point out is that when I had these seams here, I did clip off those little dog ears at each one of those intersections, just so that they're not in my way as I'm putting this together now. So another thing I did was, rather than measure out both my fabric and my batting to my 108, I simply measured out my batting to 108. And so I know when I get to the end of my batting that all of the rest of the fabric that may be there is excess. So that's just one of the little quirky things that I do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting these two pieces together. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your batting and you're going to cover it with that 3/4 of an inch piece. And ooh, look at that thread. Oh, that doesn't need to be in there. So I just tuck the batting underneath that 1/4 of an inch piece into the fold of the fabric, and I'm putting it down so that I can do that. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. I'm tucking that underneath. Now it doesn't fit under there completely because I wasn't real precise on my cutting. So, don't hold that against me. But once you've done that, then you're going to take the piece that has a 1/4 of an inch fold, and you're going to fold that over on top of the other one. And you'll note that it will not go all the way to the other side. It will only go to about the center on the back. And so you're going to, at this point, I generally will start pinning now. So I'll tuck, fold, pin, and so I'm not tucking the whole thing in all at one time. I'm just doing a small piece, a small section at a time until I've got the whole thing pinned, and then I'll be ready to sew. So I'll be back after I get done pinning. Be right back, everybody. Alrighty, so we're all pinned. Here we are, all pinned. You can see how that's folded over and pinned in place all the way down, and I've trimmed off my excess so my batting and my fabric meet up right there at the end. So now I'm ready to take it to my machine and stitch it in place. And we are going to stitch from this side, which is actually the back of the handle. This will go bag side down when we attach it to the bag, but this will be this side up when we're putting it under the machine, just to make sure that we're actually catching that fold. And something that you need to be aware of is that as you're doing it in that manner, your bobbin thread will be seen on the outside of your bag when it's finished. So it is very good if you choose your thread color, and then make sure that your bobbin and top thread match so that you have the same color on top and bottom when it's actually added to your bag. I'm going to go ahead and stitch, and then I'll meet you back here to show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, be right with you. Okay, well, what I have done, just what I said I was going to. I've stitched down that center seam, and you can see it looks pretty nice on both sides. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, well, anyway, it looks lovely to me. Now what I'm going to do, just because I think it looks nicer and I think it adds a little stability, is I'm going to do like a top stitch on both sides at the fold, however wide you want your top stitch to be. And then that will complete this particular strap, and it will then be ready to be added to my bag once, the ends are sewn together. But you can go back to the previous video and it will show you exactly how to attach that strap to your bag. But that's it for adding a fabric strap. Gosh, I hope that you found that helpful, and thanks for hanging out with Quilting with Kathy. I'll see you next time. Bye.